Some breaking news now. Former Los Angeles Fire Chief Kristin Crowley is accusing LA Mayor Karen Bass of, quote, orchestrating a campaign of misinformation, defamation, and retaliation in a new lawsuit filed this morning. For details on the legal filing and what Crowley's alleging, we're now joined by KCAL senior investigative reporter Ross Palumbo. And Ross, what is in the document?
Well, this is the claim right here, Jamie. It is pretty thick. It's some 23 pages long, and in it, former LAFD Fire Chief Kristin Crowley lays out a pattern of retaliation from Mayor Karen Bass that Crowley says led to her demotion while the mayor was undermining public safety. Mayor Bass removed Crowley as chief back in February, just 6 weeks after the Palisades fire on January 7th. The mayor saying she did it back then because she was, quote, acting in the best interest of the city. But in this claim, Crowley says Mayor Bass had only been acting in her own best interest and retaliated against Crowley and defamed her all along the way. The trouble, she alleges, began after Crowley disclosed that she had warned Bass before the fire that cutting nearly $18 million from the fire budget would have serious consequences. After that, Crowley claims the mayor and her office launched a smear campaign. That includes, she says, allegations that Crowley refused to conduct an after-action report, sent home 1,000 firefighters, had 40 fire engines just idling, and failed to notify the mayor of the weather event that exacerbated the fire. Crowley says those allegations are all false. Now she's seeking an immediate retraction of false and defamatory statements, a formal and public apology, and an end to all the ongoing retaliation that she alleges. And although the claim doesn't mention a specific dollar amount, it does indicate that she's seeking an amount over $25,000. We have reached out to the mayor for comment on this. She is not responding. Interestingly enough, just yesterday, the mayor announced that the after-action report would be delayed because the feds haven't concluded their investigation into what caused the fire. You know, the predominant theory is that it happened at Skull Rock, but we still don't know exactly. But now that this claim comes out, it is interesting because that after-action report will figure the former fire chief prominently. So people are wondering, does this have something to do with why the after-action report was delayed? We're putting those questions to the mayor and her staff. As soon as we hear back from them, which we haven't so far, we will let you know.
Well, you've been covering this from the beginning. Are there things that you are seeing outlined in here that you've been hearing since your reporting began on this issue?
You know, it's so interesting because we were reporting immediately that there was a problem with the fire budget, that $17.6 million, almost $18 million, and the tension between the mayor and the fire chief was palpable. I believe I was the first person to ask the fire chief directly at a press conference with the mayor whether the budget was at issue, and at that point she chose not to answer it. She just put her hands up. When she finally did answer the question, the mayor immediately pulled her into a private meeting at City Hall, and there was a lot of tension surrounding that. So this has been building from day one.
Okay, Ross, thank you. Appreciate the reporting. We are now joined by LA criminal defense attorney Rachel Fassé for more analysis on this breaking story. Thank you so much for joining us, especially on such short notice.
Thanks for having me.
Can you give me your initial thoughts on this? And did you see this happening?
This was brewing from the beginning, from when the facts started coming out and the blame game began between the former fire chief and the mayor. Then she was demoted in February, and then she needs to get another, she wants more positions. She doesn't want to be defamed. And that's really what's happening here, is that she's saying these allegations are all untrue. And why are you dragging me through the mud? This is not my fault. Why am I here to be your scapegoat? And the mayor has a very different story about what's going on. And this is politics at play right in front of our very eyes.
Yeah, it does seem that way. We saw what Crowley is seeking here. What do you think Crowley really hopes to gain from filing this claim?
I think she is seeking to clear her name. The other thing that I think the public may gain from this is actual facts. This is just a government claim. It is not at issue in a court of law yet. The city has time to respond to this claim before things go public in a lawsuit and discovery begins to go back and forth. But what I think Chief Crowley is after is clearing her name and clearing what would be perceived as such a giant mistake from her. And I think she doesn't want to take the heat for what went down as it relates to the fire response. I also think the public has a lot to gain from this lawsuit, though, because I think what happens at the end of the day, if it goes through trial, which seems unlikely, but if it happens, the public will be made aware of the inner workings of the response from the city. And that is really something we still don't know.
So you don't think it'll go to trial. What do you believe will come next?
I think at some point this will settle. I do not think that the city would want all of the facts relating to the fire response while there is pending litigation on the Palisades fire to go forward kind of on this side issue, but to have all of those lawyers learn the city's response, putting the city more at issue as it relates to the spread of the fire.
Do you make anything of the timing of this, the delay from the mayor's office on the cause of this fire? Is there anything in your expertise that you see could be a correlation here?
I think there's a lot going on here, and I think they want to be very thorough given the amount of litigation that is and will be pending as it relates to the fire. I don't think they can willy-nilly put out a report that does not have every single detail checked and rechecked. And I think there is something to that. They don't want to admit liability. There could be something in there that would be an admission of liability. So I think that is delayed not only because of this, but because of all of the pending litigation.
Okay.
It is such a huge issue.
Yeah, it makes sense. Rachel Frisay, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.